You know, it's true. I have, you all know, I told you I've struggled with weight all my life. So I have been living in this body too long. And I do love to travel. And I don't want a seatbelt extender anymore. And so just those things, when I say I didn't want to live in that body anymore, is because I feel like it's been holding me back for so long from doing things that I want to do and things that I can enjoy doing without feeling, awkward. So
Yeah. Well,
It's really important, I think, Jamie, bringing out that, we have one body, and to be able to really take care of it and not take it for granted, and being able to take control of what you want to do in your life from that, so that it becomes one of the most important things for you. That's like your home, that's your core. So when you take care of yourself and feel good about it, then every decision you make moving forward is then just as positive and in your control.
definitely.
And Ro, so since you started your journey and now, how do you feel in your body?
I feel pretty amazing, actually.
That's what I'm talking about.
I am enjoying this journey. I've learned so much. Things I didn't do, like I didn't cook. And now I'm cooking. I'm not saying I'm loving it, but I do it because it's the food that goes into my body and into Jordan's body is important. So, and you guys have taught me that. Definitely Meryl taking me on the shopping trip, and like I'm actually cooking bok choy at home.
Right.
And it was funny, I was at BB3 and I was talking to someone. She's like, well, how do you cook bok choy? I was like, well, Meryl told me. So like I'm like giving recipes out. Like,
I know. I remember in the beginning when I was talking about vegetables, and you're like, oh no, I'm not eating vegetables. I'm just not. I'll do everything else, but I'm not eating vegetables. But okay. And,
just different vegetables. Like I stuck to what I knew. Like, okay, broccoli, I do broccoli, and maybe a little spinach, but the different things that I have to admit that in 40 years I'd never eaten Brussels sprouts, and
Really?
I tried those and went to farmer's table, and so those kind of things.
Did you like them?
I love them. I actually cook
really?
them at home.
I still don't do Brussels sprouts.
I like
fan either.
cabbage, so it tastes like cabbage.
right,
to
right.
me.
We got to give you a good recipe for Brussels sprouts.
I don't know. It's going to take a lot of work to
You gotta dip
convert
them in
me,
chocolate
but-
or something.
So you're doing better than me.
But that also speaks to taking risks, and I think that for you, one of the biggest problems was staying in a comfort zone that you thought was comfortable, but clearly, even listening to the quote, it really wasn't comfortable.
Right.
And so knowing that taking a risk is how you put yourself out there, but knowing that even if you make a mistake or mess up, you will solve it, you'll figure it out, and you'll be able to do it even better the next time, and that's what you did.
Right, definitely. This whole journey has been like, I don't know, I can just doing things that I never thought I'd do. Or
You've surprised me a few times. Like, when
Really?
I thought you would be the most timid in certain situations, or probably the most reserved, really is probably a better word. You blew past everybody else.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I kind of surprised myself.
it's amazing. It's awesome because, I don't know, I think any mom tends to have that mama bear thing in
Right.
her. And I think you're right, some of the things have been holding you back, but it looks like you're taking control of not only your life, but now you're doing more so for Jordan. And
Right.
is he eating the stuff that you're making?
He is eating the stuff. Well, he doesn't have a choice.
Okay.
So, he doesn't have a choice.
Kids can't have too many
Yeah,
choices, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like broccoli or spinach. He's like, all right, I'll take broccoli. I'm like, okay. So that, again, that's good. The stuff that I bring at home, it's still getting a little control over what he's eating when he's out of my sight.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm trying to
At least if you got
figure it out.
50-50, you're still better,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as he
And
watches you, as he sees you, continue to move forward, he'll want to emulate that. It's the whole, do as I, not as I say, but as I do. And
Right.
so,
You're planting seeds. Not everything also sprouts right away. So
Right.
as you continue to keep bringing in foods that are better for you, and you keep modeling that this is what I'm going to do, you're being consistent, and you're making those choices, then he will eventually start taking on that same mentality.
Yeah, definitely. Jordan's taking better steps. If I grab a bottle of water walking out the house, he grabs a bottle of water walking out the house.
There you go.
I just hope and pray he doesn't spill it before we get where we're going. Like, I actually take water to church, so I have a bottle, and I look down, and he has his bottle. I'm like, dude. He's like, you have to drink more water. So little steps like that.
That's good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, Ro, obviously this hasn't been easy. It's getting in shape is very challenging. What has, for you personally, has been the most challenging part?
The most challenging part for me, You know what? It's not getting caught up in the numbers. You know, every week, you know, we have to get on that scale, and Monday mornings are like, literally, I keep my scale downstairs. So I drag myself downstairs, get undressed, and do the whole scale thing. And thinking, I worked really hard this week. I ate everything on my meal plan. You know, I didn't cheat, I didn't stray. And then you get on the scales like nothing. So that would be the hardest part for me. Another part that I struggle with that I don't think is that I feel like I've gotten stronger, and you tell me that all the time, but I know Billy, I'm always telling Billy, like, Billy, I want to lift heavier, and I'm trying to lift heavier, and I'm really trying. So struggling with not being, in my mind, I'm strong. In my mind, I'm strong, and I can lift that. But sometimes I'm like, dude, why am I not lifting this? I want to lift heavier. So
well, you are. You have to acknowledge your victories, though.
Yes,
You know, sometimes we have to like win the lottery to think we're rich,
Yes.
but in actuality, if you save a few bucks, you're much more wealthy than you were.
Right.
But it's all a process, and it's really the little things that you do over time that create massive results.
Right.
No one gets in shape all at once. You don't get on the scale and it's like it's all gone unless you've lost a limb, and that's a bad thing, right? So what you want to do is like when you first start, like I always comment on like your squats. Like, because you were like doing these quarter squats. I'm like, what the?
yeah, those were cute. Like,
I'm like, what's
yeah,
going on here?
They
This
were
is
real
not the
squats.
exercise. And your walking lunges were like a exaggerated, very slow motion run. And now you actually have depth to them. And like
Yeah.
that's a sign of strength. So you've come a very long way.
Oh,
But I
thank
think
you.
you're looking for things that are on the horizon, but you've already made up so much space. You're moved so much further than you were that it's just a matter of time. You just
Yeah.
need the consistency, and you're killing it. So
Thank you.
and then the one thing I'd like to say is the number, because I'm so glad you brought it up, because I know everyone watching, everyone in the world, man and woman, men don't like to admit it, but that number, we all think that number is a reflection of whether we're worthy or not, whether we're good enough in life. And really, it's just a number. And really what it comes down to is the process. We all want an outcome. We want this number, and when I'm at this number, then I'll start living my life. But the truth is you live now. You live here and now in the present moment. And you never let a number affect your attitude. And whenever you overcome that, you realize that, you know, God doesn't make junk. He only makes masterpieces.
Right.
And I know that's your belief, and I know that's how you live. But that scale is just your mental conditioning tool. So when you get on it next time, you say whatever that number is, it just means there may be a little bit more of me to love this week. Or if there's a little less of you to love, there's more of you to admire. But that's the attitude that you got to have. And I know you have it in you, but we all have these times where our attitude shifts back and forth.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, I have come to accept it. I will. In the beginning, it was really hard. It was really hard every week getting on scale. Like, what? I don't believe this. But you're right. Now you get on there, it's like, okay, you know, I know what I did, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
And you see the visible changes.
Yeah.
So you know.
And I do,
Yeah.
and people see that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, forget what that scale said.
Yeah.
So definitely.
It's also about being healthy. Remember, you know, it's not about what the number is. It's
Right.
how healthy you are on the inside, and you know all the changes that you've made and
Right.
continue to make and will continue to follow through with are going to keep you healthy. And in the
Right.
long run, you know, that's really what's most important is preventing yourself from getting sick and worrying about those diseases that people in your family have had. And so, you know.
I'm actually glad you brought that up. When we met with Dr. Cedarquist the other day, I guess you've seen the results, and there was a marker. I don't know what all the fancy terms were, but there was a marker about cardiovascular health. And I don't even think I told you guys, but it was a marker about cardiovascular health. And when we first took our vitals, took the blood and saliva back in before, my number was an outrageous number, 120 something. And then she told me that marker for cardiovascular health is now at 1. And I was,
That's awesome.
I was like, okay, I'm done.
I think it was right.
Yeah.
I think it was inflammation or
Right.
something. Yeah, it was.
It's
amazing.
directly related to cardiovascular. And I was like, wow, you know, when I came on this show, you know, it was about getting my heart healthy, you know, losing my grandmother and my mom dealing with heart disease. So that was like, I told Dr. Cedar, okay, I'm done now. I got what I came for. I'm done. So that was, you're right, Meryl. It's
Right,
about getting not just the outside, but definitely the inside too. So.
I think, Rochelle, one of the best things I could tell you moving forward when the show is done is that as long as your expectations are in check and they're realistic with maybe it doesn't look exactly what you're thinking in your mind, because sometimes you have that great expectation of what it should look like, sound like, be like, But if it's just what Billy said, if you just look at it a little bit smaller and take a step back, you'll see different things. Like your numbers maybe on the scale may not have moved for that week, but your numbers in your medical health may have changed.
Right.
So just keep, your eye on the bigger prize of the overall picture, and that every week you may not feel the same when you're back at the gym. There's sometimes you may feel stronger, but then the next week you may feel a little bit weaker, but then the next week it could be stronger. And so just keeping your expectations in line so that you also don't get so hard on yourself to keep you away from continuing to build.
Right.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, you've come a long way in a short time.
Yeah,
you were
I
stuck
have.
for a while.
Yeah.
You had started your journey.
Yeah.
So you've done amazing. You really have.
thank you.
You look
Thank
so
you.
good.
It's definitely been an amazing journey. I'm excited. I've done 5Ks before, and I shared it
Yes.
with you guys.
So proud of you.
I've done 5Ks before, but usually I just kind of sashay into the finish line. I'm thinking I'm well above the rest because I finished it, right? But this last one I did, I actually wanted to run it. So I did a run walk, and I actually placed third in my age group. I was like,
That's
what?
awesome.
Yeah, what a
Those kind
small
of
group.
things. I was very excited. So yeah, I'm definitely making changes, and this is my life now. This wasn't just I'm going to do this and move on. This is my life now. And Jessica, you didn't bring up the good stuff, but all the good stuff. My journaling. Man, I told my friend she has to find it and destroy it, because I'm in it all the time. Like I take it everywhere I go, and that also has helped me, deal with a lot of stuff. And I told you, being grateful, reading the 3 things I'm grateful for every day. You are so right with everything you said about that, and those kind of things. So all these, I asked for tools, and I got them. So this show has literally just giving me, I wouldn't say giving my life back because it was a different life. It's given me life, and giving life to my kids, everything. All I asked for was the tools, and you guys gave them to me. I'm like, thank you. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really anxious to take these tools and continue. Because I have big expectations, but realistic expectations.
Well, actually, I have a question then. Speaking of expectations, what's one thing that you could recommend to our viewers with the mental piece on what it is that they could do to break through that I'm not comfortable with how I look, I'm not comfortable with where I am? What could they do? What's that one piece of advice?
One piece of advice for the mental part. Definitely writing. For me, it was the writing the things that I'm, no, I know what it is. The random acts of kindness. And the reason why I say that, I remember asking, do I write this down? If I just open the door for someone, and those things, when you get down on yourself and you go back and realize how you spread love and how you spread kindness in the world, it brings you, if you forget all that stuff oh, I'm up 2 pounds, or I didn't lose any weight this week. It brings everything into perspective. So definitely random acts, I will too. And then writing the things you're grateful for. Sometimes I go back and I'm like, oh, I'm reading stuff. And you guys appear in my journal a lot, just so you know.
I'm the most. I'm in it. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Probably the least. Not a lot more to contribute.
Well, I got to see Billy on Wednesday, so it's Billy. It's all over Billy.
I'm sure. None of it's good though. That's the thing.
But definitely, just those little things, and when you spread love, it comes back to you. So you love on yourself when you realize that if you're not that weight that you want to be, or you didn't lose the pounds that you want to do, or you didn't do that extra workout, you still love it on yourself, and you can open that up, and that does it for me. That's the mental piece.
That's a great
That's
advice.
awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
So, with that being said, it's amazing to see your original quote from when you first started to now, how you love yourself and loving other people. And it's just really, from my perspective, their perspective, your change has been amazing. And
Thank
kudos
you.
to you for all that you've done, and continue on working on yourself and your family.
Well, thank you all. Thank all of you for every tool that you've given me and believing in me. And this has just been a blessing. So thank you.
Can't wait to see you next week at the
Yeah.
finale.
You're gonna be all dolled up and hot.
Oh, that's
Hot
right.
mommy.
See you Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye, Rochelle.
Bye.